Please
Thank you, Darren.
introduce yourself because probably most of the Chinese audiences don't know you.
I'm Collin Holloway. I'm an American classical guitarist. I've known Darren for many, many years. I'm a soloist. I'm a chamber musician. I'm a teacher, so I do a lot of things. But in a nutshell, I'm a musician. So just like these guys. So
It's awesome. Tell me everything I don't know. Let's start from your high school experience or even
mhm.
earlier. You were born in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah,
Oklahoma basically is a city of nowhere.
yeah.
Nobody
It's
really
definitely
care about
smaller.
Oklahoma. It's not very cultural based, right?
Mhm.
So how did you find classical
Mhm.
guitar in that kind of environment?
I was playing like acoustic guitar and electric guitar, and I was like playing in bands and stuff. And then it was because I went to a performing arts, basically middle and high school, and I really wanted to go because I really liked music. But one of the requirements was I needed to learn how to read music and read the staff.
Hmm.
But I wanted to stick with guitar. And then, well, I didn't know how to read, and I didn't know how to do that. So I got a teacher. She taught in the Suzuki method, so I could learn how to read and translate to that guitar,
Hmm.
or to the guitar. And yeah, from there, I mean, obviously many things happened, but that middle high school experience where I really kind of like fell in love with classical guitar, and like I was actually very frustrated at first playing in bands and stuff because I felt like I was like the only one that was like writing, like really dedicated to it, and everybody else who was like, oh, whatever, we're just having fun. But musicians, we don't want to have fun with music. We want to be good at it. But that's really what kind of set things in motion. And I mean, of course, like I mean, through that school, I met like you, Duran, and obviously met Matt.
How long like you studied with the teacher who teach in Suzuki?
Her name was Sarah Litzner. She's an amazing, amazing teacher. I studied with her probably 5 years at least.
Oh, wow, how many books
Um,
did you finish?
a lot. I can't even remember. I still have a couple in my room actually, like right over there. It wasn't like strict. I mean, we did all the Suzuki method and all of that,
Hmm.
but then we were also working on pieces like outside of it. I went through the majority of the book, and especially when I like first started. Of course, it was like it's only Suzuki, so maybe it was less than 5 years. It's a long time.
Suzuki method is very popular in United States, but it rarely known
Mhm.
by Chinese audiences. So would you please introduce
Oh,
a little bit, talk a little bit more compared to other textbook? What's the experience for you as a learner?
I mean, to me, it was like it was my ear was engaged a lot. It seemed like very direct, especially like going from zero reading, and kind of having like that musical inclination, but not knowing how to translate it to anything. Having the technique to do anything with it. It felt like a very intuitive way to kind of start down that path. I mean, to me, it wasn't boring. It was very interesting. It didn't seem like pedantic. So I guess like an intuitive and like very direct, and I felt like I was using my ear a lot. Just because like naturally I knew the melodies, so I like knew what I wanted them to sound like, and then that kind of had this like good feedback loop of oh, and then you realize how that relates to the notes. Yeah, it was really effective. I really liked especially to all the beginners. That was it.
Then in Klassen SAS, you met
Mhm.
Matt Denman, right?
Right. Yeah, middle school, high school years that I met Matt.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still remember at the time your father always involved to all the activities we had. Right. So what
Yeah,
is his role?
he's like an amateur pianist. Amateur, just that he doesn't do it for a living. But I mean, he composes. I mean, not folk songs, but almost like popular songs, like instrumental music. And yeah, he's just always done that all his life. And then so he was very like encouraging when I showed like an interest in music and showed an inclination, and was willing to like take it seriously. And he's also very community. Whenever he found this other musical community, he thought it was fun to be around.
Did he like trying to push you to go to the path of classical guitar, like forcing you to do it? You have to do it, or did he check your
Yeah.
practice time?
My mom is more strict than my dad.
Well, that's that's
Most
a that's a
definitely.
truth for like the universe.
Yeah, like for sure. He wasn't that strict, but he was always like whatever avenue it took, you know.
Hmm.
I think he really liked me writing music. But then when he saw how like then because he wasn't very familiar with classical music, and then when he kind of like you said, he was like a part of the community and kind of experienced it that way a little more directly. He really became excited about that too. But no, my mom, I mean, my dad was like, "Did you practice?" But when my mom asked me that, I like made sure I practiced.
How long
So,
did you practice a day, like during your high school time?
It's like that's not a complicated question, but for me it is because like in middle school, I mean, like how hard it is to practice well anyway. But like I swear it's like I don't know how I got better at the instrument just because I don't know what I did for like 45 minutes when I would practice a day. But anyway, being at Klassen, like you're playing so much every day that I'm not really sure how much I practice because I'd be in the environment of like being around, like, I mean, at least a couple of times a week, like in the classroom, just, like rehearsing and all of that. Probably a junior or senior, I was practicing at least, I mean, I would say like an hour and a half to 3 hours a day. Before that, less. I played through my repertoire, but like, like, yeah.
Just enjoy the music, not really seriously practicing. Yeah.
Exactly, just like unconscious, but I did play a lot, but when it was like time to get ready for like, like to like try to get into conservatory, do all of that, like it's like, oh, I actually realize I missed notes.
After that, you went to San Francisco, right? So
No, I went to a school in upstate in Eastman School of Music.
Eastman. Right.
Yeah.
So how did you find the school, and who did you study with?
I applied a bunch of places, whatever, but and it was pretty positive with the results that I got, but man, it's like it's so funny you asking these questions because like you don't think about it anymore now, and it's like oh my god, it's like so nostalgic. But like the Celedonia Romero Institute,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you were part of it, but I met a young guitarist at this basically summer institute. He went to Eastman and he told me to check it out, and I ended up talking to the professor, and I got like just really 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 good feeling about going there, which doesn't tell you much, but like I went and visited. If I get accepted here, this is where I wanna go. And Nicholas Kalousis.
You just studied for the 4-year undergrad. Then what happened?
I was very fortunate at Eastman to meet a French guitarist, Thomas Villeteau, who was then getting his doctorate. And I would say that like my first couple of years, I mean, I really studied with Thomas as well, and kind of begged him to teach me. And I mean, unofficially, he was also another teacher that Nick kind of, said, okay. But it was a nice balance because Nick was very, I mean, he wasn't like easy, but like he was more, I guess, kind of like level in his lessons, and Tomal would be harsher. So it was a nice balance in that. But anyway, after that, I ended up doing my master's at the University of Kentucky, which is not the most well-known school, but there's an amazing guitarist there. His name's Dr. Dieter Hennings. He's actually a graduate of Eastman, and just being insanely good. I would go to lessons, and it was like the most frustrating thing. Like I'm like, like everybody says their teacher's good. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like he would sight read my pieces like better than I was playing them. I swear.
Oh my lord.
Like yeah, like it was like I thought people can do it, and then Dieter did. It's just like, are you
That's frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating. You're like, man, I was practicing like 5 hours a day, easy at that point. So it's like, I really do suck. I mean, I'm kidding, but it's funny. But I ended up going there, and it was actually between that and San Francisco Conservatory. But anyway, I ended up going to University of Kentucky, and I was actually a TA there, which was great for me because I wanted to teach, and I mean, also financially it helps a lot. So it was good. I mean, it was an amazing. I mean, both schools were amazing experience. UK was also an amazing school, and that was kind of the funny thing is like this school that has a much like kind of smaller name than San Francisco Conservatory, obviously, but I got so much out of it, and the education was just like top notch, especially for my professors. So that's interesting. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. Wow. What a journey.